Okay, in this video I'd like to introduce the Excel projects that you will work through in many of the homework assignments for the class. So right now I'm on the course homepage in the Pearson lab, and when I click down through the assignments and then homework, I can choose which assignment of course I want to work through. I'm going to scroll down to Chapter 5 Part 2 because I know there are a couple of Excel project assignments or spreadsheet exercises in this particular homework group. So here we've got 3 different Excel projects, and let's just pick one to work with. So problem 5-51. And so when you click on any Excel project question, this is the page that you're going to see. You see there's different steps outlined here as far as how to pull up the documents, submit them for grading, and then eventually I'll show you how to review your work once you have submitted an Excel file for review. So the first step is to download the material. So if I click on download, you'll see that there's 3 different links here or methods for downloading the material for that particular problem. This first one here is a Word document, and this is a Word document that has just the instructions for completing the assignment. The next one here is, you notice by the file type, this is an Excel document. This is the actual Excel file that you will complete and submit through the assignment here. So, and then the third link one, this is just a zip file that has everything above it. So the zip file would include both the Excel document and the Word document. So if you like, you can print out the Word file or keep it separately on your computer to reference the instructions as you go, or you can just work with the Excel file because that does also have not only the questions that you'll answer, but it will have the instructions in it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and download this Excel file, and this is what I have here. So this is the file that I need to complete and submit for review within the lab. Okay, so again, you have the different assignment questions here. The instructions are included with the file, or you can download separately the Word document that's included in the group. So you'll notice that as you work through the questions, the blue boxes are where you'll need to input answers. Pretty much all of the numerical problems that you'll work through as far as Excel projects goes will need to have a formula attached to it. And that formula will also need to utilize cell references. So you can see here in the requirements down below. So for example, the first requirement, giving a cell that I need to work through, so E17, which is here, it's telling me I need to use cell references and create formulas using the payment function to calculate the annual payment for a loan. Okay, so again, most of the time when you have numerical problems that you need to find solutions for, you're going to use a formula. Most of the time that formula will be through a function in Excel, and you do need to use cell references as well. So let's look at an example here. So for this particular question here, I have loan A that's will be outstanding for 3 years. I have an annual interest rate of 8%, and I have a present value or loan amount of $12,000. So I want to find what the annual loan payment will be. So you'll notice that there's information up here towards the top. This is kind of a summary of the information for each particular loan. When I'm doing cell references, I want to reference the information that is directly above or near the blue cells. I don't want to reference data that's in the table at the top of the file, and that would be consistent or the same with other files that you work with. Okay. You'll also notice there are some important notes up here to be mindful of. Make sure you're looking at the top of the page to see what additional information the question is providing. So here's telling us to determine the equal end of year payments that's required for each of the loans. Do not use cell references to cells in rows 6 and 9, which is what I was just referencing. When I use cell references, I'm not going to reference any data up here. I want to reference the data that's near or above the blue cells for each loan. So if I work through a problem real quick, let's say I do loan A, and I want to work with the payment function. And I'm going to, again, reference the interest rate. So the interest rate is 8%. So instead of typing 8 or 8% here or 0.08, I'm going to click on the cell that contains that 8%. So again, that is what we refer to as a cell reference. For a number of periods, I'm going to click on the number of years. And then for present value, I'm going to click on the loan amount. Okay, so the result here is going to be a payment that is displayed as a negative number, which we would expect, given that is a payment or a cash outflow to us as the payer of the loan. And then I would follow that same process to complete the different loans or steps for this particular Excel project. So once I have completed this, or preferably even before, I'll save this file to my computer, and I'll just say 3403 Excel project 5-51. And for now, I'm just going to save it to my computer documents here. Actually, I'll just save it to my desktop. Okay, so that's saved. I will go through then and complete the questions for the other remaining loans, and make sure I've saved my work as I go. And at this point, I'm ready to submit it. So I go to, just look here, step 2, it just says to follow the instructions, the steps for finishing the project. So I've done that. Again, this is just another preview or another way to see the assignment instructions that's included in both the Word document and the Excel file that we were just working through. But once I have completed a file and I'm ready for it to be submitted and reviewed, I would then choose that file here. Okay, so I have selected my file from my desktop, and I have clicked upload in order to store it here. And then all I need to do at this point is just submit this for grading. So when I click on submit for grading, what that's going to do is I'm going to be sending it through an auto-graded system. So the Pearson lab itself will run through an automated, very quick grading process, and my results will be reviewed very quickly after. So once I click submit for grading, at that point, give it a couple seconds to give us a completion message here. I can click continue, and then I can go out and review my results by going back into the lab, back to the main menu, and going into the results menu here. Okay, so from the left column of options, I click on results, as I would if I want to review any of my quiz or homework results at this point in the course. I can go through results and find that particular homework assignment I want to look at. I click on review, and then I can go into that this particular Excel project to see what I did correctly or incorrectly. So it gives us a note here that we're just reviewing information here. I'm not allowed to make any changes at this point. I would need to do that if I have additional attempts back in the assignments and homework menu here. So I'm going to click on continue to review homework. And then this is really one of the main things I want to demonstrate, which is how do I review what was scored correctly or incorrectly? Well, there's a few different ways. This page here is going to give me quite a bit of information with the green check marks and the red X's here. So check marks, of course, are things that I calculated or did correctly. Then I click on that check mark, and this is a confirmation of the formula that I used and that it's correct. Likewise, if I want to look at something that I did incorrectly, I can look at the red X's here and click on a red X, and then it's going to tell me essentially, what the formula should have looked like. Okay. Another option that I can utilize is to download the graded submission. So up here, I can click on the download link, and then I can download a marked up file or graded file of what I submitted. So notice there's a couple different tabs here. The first tab is the submission markup, and this just gives me a summary of the correct or incorrect lines that I had in the sheets and my overall score. And then I can click on the actual sheet itself that I worked through, and you'll notice these red arrows here. If I click on a cell that is marked in red, I hover over that cell, and it's going to give me that same feedback as far as what the formula should have looked like and why it was incorrect. Okay, so once I've reviewed my grade and my work here, I can go back to my original Excel file, and make any corrections I need to make, and then just simply resubmit it back through the question like I did the first time. Okay, so hopefully this helped to clarify any questions you may have with how to work in the Excel projects, and more importantly, how to review your work and resubmit your files for a better grade. Note again that these submissions are not manually graded, they are auto-graded, and they are auto-graded very quickly. So I know that there's a disclaimer that it may take up to a minute, but typically it's just a few seconds. So once you submit a file for grading, you do not need to wait much time before you can go back in through the results menu of the lab and review how you did.